Hi, hello everyone. A new chapter, a new day, a new video. So today we would cover the next chapter. In the last chapter, we have covered understanding the consumer market in the last video. So now we are moving to the next chapter where we will understand the market, and the name of this chapter as well is understanding the market. So how this chapter is starting in Philip Kotler. So it's starting with the example of a strong focus on innovation and product expansion has propelled Caterpillar from a farm selling tractors to the world's largest manufacturer of earth moving equipment and engines. So this is talking about Caterpillar company, which initially started with by selling tractors. Then they started manufacturing tractors. So it's telling key a strong focus on innovation and product expansion has propelled its improvement. Business markets, although often less visible than consumer markets, are substantially larger than consumer market. Okay, so business markets include all businesses, all organizations, governments who buy, who sells vast quality of raw materials, manufactured components, plants, equipments, supplies, services in order to help them develop offering for their business and consumers. So it is giving us a brief about business market, what that exactly is. At the same time, it's telling ki the consumer market that we know, ki I as a consumer, you as a consumer, our neighbor, all the people and everyone as a consumer, they are buying products, they are buying as the end consumer as the products. But there is another segment of market which is called business market, which is larger than this consumer market, and they actually buys all kind of raw materials, services, products to create their products. Suppose, let me tell you the example. Suppose the phone that you are using, so it was created by one company, one business, one organization, but at the same time they cannot directly build the phone. They cannot build each and every part of this phone. Suppose the chips, suppose the screen, battery, other things, technology, new softwares. So what that business exactly does, they buys these things separately from different organizations, and then they use their own people, their own employees to fit all this together and create the final phone that they are wanting to create. So here, as a consumer, we are consuming the end product phone, but as a business, the company of this phone is buying different parts of this phones and different required materials of this phone from another business. So that is coming under the business market. Okay, so here the first big topic under this analyzing business market, the part which will come is the organizational buying process. Organizational buying process, what it is exactly. So it's telling ki organizational buying is the decision making process by which formal organizations establish the need for purchased products and services, and by which they identify, evaluate, and choose among alternative brands and suppliers. They are telling this organizational buying is the decision making process by which formal organizations establish the need for purchase products and services, and by which they identify, evaluate, and choose among the alternative brands and suppliers. Key, who are all the suppliers available, who are all the service providers available, whom we can hire for our business. Okay, so this organization under this organizational buying process, first subtopic which is coming is understanding the business market. So this business market is something which consists of all organizations that acquire good services used in the production or products or services that are sold, rented, or supplied to others. So basically any firm that actually supplies the components of any product that is under business to business marketplace. So more dollars and items changed hands in sales to business buys than to consumers. Okay, it's telling you more dollars and items change hands in sales to business buyers than to consumers. Okay, consider the process of producing and selling a simple pair of shoes. A broad spectrum of material combinations are used today in shoe manufacturing. Leathers, synthetics, rubbers, textile materials are counted among the basic upper materials. Each material has its own specific character, which differs not only in appearance but also in physical properties, service, life, and treatment needs. The choice of shoe material significantly influences the life of the footwear and in many cases dictates its use. For leather shoes, hide. Dealers must sell hides to tanners, and who sell leather to shoe manufacturers, who sell shoes to the wholesalers, who sells shoe to the retailers, and finally sell them to the consumers. Each party in the supply chain also buys many other goods and services to support the operations. So it's a like much more bigger marketplace than the consumer market that they're telling. Okay, so here next point which would come under this understanding business market is fewer but larger buyers. It's telling you the business marketer normally deals with far fewer and buyers of much large quantities. They're telling you the consumers, as an end consumer, people buys one two single products, but this business to business marketers, what they do, they actually buys big amount, large ticket size, large quantities of products. Okay, then the second point is close supplier and customer relationship, because the smaller customer base and the size, importance and power of the customers, suppliers are frequently expected to customize their offerings for individual business consumer needs. On an annual basis, Pittsburgh based PPG Industries purchase more than $7 billion in material and services from thousands of suppliers. PPG rewards its suppliers for superior performance on attributes such as product quality, delivery, documentation, innovation, responsiveness, and continuous improvement. So it's telling that this group of supplier and buyers, they are actually lesser in quantity, but the ticket size is bigger. So automatically the importance is higher here. So it's telling to maintain the relationship is important in this part, where different companies have their different approaches And a company like PPG, what they do, they actually buys a lot of multiple things, multiple products or products materials from different suppliers, and once in a year they actually rewards them. They gives them awards on the basis of their products quality, their documentation process, their responsiveness, and other things. That's really interesting, right? So similarly, in India as well, uh, when there are businessmen, they at the beginning of Bengali financial year or Indian financial year, they also gives or creates this kind of um, events where they actually invite their buyers and suppliers and offers them some um, some sweets, some food, invitation, and everything, which is called Hal Khatha in Bengal, and throughout India as well, it will called Hal Khatha. There is a basic term, I guess, if I'm not wrong. So that concept also actually belongs to this, right? So the third thing which comes under this understanding business market is professional purchasing. Business goods are often purchased by trained purchasing agent who must follow their organization's purchasing policies, constraints, and requirements. Much of the documentation used in business buying, for example, requests of quotations, proposals, and purchase contracts are not typically found in consumer buying, but many professional buyers belong to the Institute of Supply Management, which seek to improve the profession's effectiveness and status. This means the business market must provide more technical data about their product and its competitive advantages to their consumers, right? So with this thing, the next thing which is important is multiple buying influences. More people typically influences business buying decision. Buying committees that includes technical experts and even senior management are common in the purchase of major goods. Business markets need to send well-trained sales representatives and teams to deal with this quality well-trained buyers. So the next big point which comes here is derived demand. The demand for business goods is ultimately derived from the demand of consumers' goods. For this reason, the business marketer must closely monitor the buying pattern of end users. Pittsburgh-based Consol Energy's coal and natural gas business largely depends on orders from utilities and steel companies, which in turn depend on consumer demand for electricity and for steel-based products such as automobiles, machines, and appliances. So they're telling ki this demand should be derived. The demand of the business goods is ultimately delivered for the demand of the consumer's goods. For this reason, the business marketer must closely monitor the buying pattern of the end user. Pittsburgh-based Consol Energy coal and natural gases business largely depends on the orders from utilities and steel companies, which in turn depends on the consumer demand. So it's telling to understand the demand in this business to business market, you should look at the pattern of the end consumers. If any of the consumption for them is increasing, then automatically this B2B demand will increase, right? That's what it is talking about. So if I'm not wrong, like the share market also works this way. Suppose there is some particular demand is increasing for particular set of people or particular set of products, then usually what will happen, this business to business purchasing, business to business demands will also change their status, and automatically people will start investing or pulling out their invested money from particular companies, from particular industries, right? So the next part which comes is under this understanding business market is inelastic demand. The total demand of the many business goods and services are inelastic. Okay, that is, it is not much affected by the pricing changes. Shoe manufacturers are not going to buy much more leather if the price of the leather falls. Okay, much less if the price rises. So it's telling ki the demand in this B2B business is like constant. It's not like if you reduce the price or give some marketing strategy, then they will buy more than which is required. So that is not the cases, because the ultimate demand will stay constant. Okay, inelastic the demand is. So demand is especially inelastic in the short run, because producers cannot make quick change in production methods. Demand is also inelastic for business goods that represent a small percentage of items total cost, such as shoe laces. Okay, okay. So whenever you are supplying things, it's like you're supplying small part of any of the product in bulk. So that is the thing. So it's like even if the demand for the end consumer is improving, increasing, but going down, so what happens? Okay, it doesn't mean कि the shoe company who is providing the end product to the consumers, they will increase their production overnight. That's there is a very less probability for that. Okay. So there are other aspects under this understanding business market, which is fluctuating demand, geographical consent for buyers, direct purchasing. Business buyers often buy directly from manufacturers rather than through intermediaries, especially items that are technically complex and expensive, such as agricultural equipment, industrial machinery, and aircraft. So many of the things gets purchased directly from the manufacturer. It's not like there would be always some intermediary companies or organization who would be reselling the things, or organizing the thing and reselling. So that was the whole brief regarding this business market. After this, the next topic, big topic which is coming, key types of buying decision. So it's telling कि this buying decision for business buyers faces many decisions in making a purchase. How many depends on the complexity of the problem being solved, the newness of the buying requirement, the number of people involved, and the time required to complete the purchase. There are three types of business buying situations: the straight rebuy, the modified rebuy, and the new rebuy. The straight rebuy is telling कि in a straight rebuy, the purchasing department reorders items like office supplies, bulk chemicals, routine basis. Okay, those comes under straight rebuy. There could be some buying processes which are modified rebuy. What that happens, or what happens exactly for this kind of buying processes? The buyer in a modified rebuy wants to change products, specifications, prices, delivery requirements, and other terms. Suppose they want little more product, they want little different product, they want little less less price product. So that becomes or comes under the modified rebuy. And the other kind of purchase which comes is key totally new buy. Someone is buying something for the first time, and a new buy purchase faces some risk. It's telling कि when acquiring a product or service for the first time, the greater the risk or cost, the larger the number of buying decision participants, the greater their information gathering, and the longer the time it takes to make a decision. So it's telling if it's a new buy, then the decision process, then the buying participants, and in that buying decision, the time taken to convert the whole new buy becomes a little time consuming, because there's a lot of thing which is actually involved in that process. And if there is a loss after one buying decision is done, then company have to um, bear that, right? So that's what broadly types of buying decisions exist in this business to business market. Then the next big topic is coming, the buying center. Who buys the trillions of dollars worth of goods and services needed by business organizations? Who buys the trillions of dollars of worth of goods and services needed by business organization? Purchasing agents are influential in straight rebuy and modified rebuy situations, whereas other employees are more influential in new buy situations. Engineers are usually influential in selecting product components. Purchasing agent dominate in selling supplies. So they are telling the people who buys the business to business products, they are usually engineers who knows the product components, the purchasing agents and other things, and other employees who are like the influential part of that business becomes a important thing. Okay, so under this buying center, the next subtopic which is coming, the composition of buying center. The decision buying unit of a buying organization is often referred to as a buying center. The decision making unit of a buying organization is often referred to as a buying center. So it's telling a group of people, suppose, are there who are outsourcing the procurement, buying the things, then that becomes the buying center for that company. So it's telling the buying center includes all members of the organization who play one or more of the 7 roles in the purchasing decision. So this purchasing decision has 1 to 7 roles. First one is initiator, users or others in the organization who request that something to be purchased. We need this thing to build this thing. Okay. Then the users, those who will use the product or service. In many cases, the users initiate the buying proposal and help defining the product's requirements. Okay. Then the thing is, users or the other in the organization who request that something is to be purchased. Then there are users who will use the product or service. In many cases, they initiate the buying proposal. Then they are telling the influencers, people who influence the buying decision, often by helping to define specifications and provide information for evaluating alternatives. Technical people are particularly important influencers. Okay. Then fourth type of buying center people, people from this buying center who comes into picture are deciders, people who decides on product requirements on the suppliers. Okay, yes, that is required. Then after the deciders, there are approvers, people who authorize the proposed actions of deciders or buyers. Okay. After someone initiates, users proposals given, influencers have influenced, deciders have decides, approvers will be giving the approvers. Then comes into pictures the buyers, people who have formal authority to select the supplier and arrange purchase in terms. Buyers may help shape product specifications, but the major role is to select vendors and negotiate terms in price. In more complex purchase, buyers might include high-level managers. Okay. Then the seventh type of buying center people who comes into picture is the gatekeeper, people who have the power to prevent seller or information from reaching members of the buying center. For example, purchasing agent, receptionist, telephone operators may prevent salespersons from contacting users or deciders directly. Okay. So this whole buying center of any organization, of any business, in this whole buying center, this seven levels of people, seven types of peoples actually comes into picture: initiator, user, influencers, deciders, approvers, buyers, and then gatekeepers. Okay, so this seven. So with this, the next thing which comes into picture is the role of the buying center in the organization. What is the role of a buying center in an organization? What could be the role of a buying center in an organization according to you? So this purchasing departments actually have a mission to seek the best value from fewer and better suppliers. Their main role is, the role of the buying center is getting sourced the required product, getting sourced the product from the suppliers who can provide more value than others, right? So greater value from the fewer suppliers who are available in the market. So that's what they need to do. Okay, so that's the main role. Then the topic which is coming in this understanding business market is like buying center dynamics. Buying center usually includes participants with different interests, authorities, status, and other kind of persuasions, and everything comes into picture. Purchasing decisions are ultimately made by individuals, not organizations. Individuals are motivated by their own needs and perceptions in attempting to make maximizing the organizational reward they earn: pay, advancement, recognition, feeling of achievement. However, organizational needs legitimize the buying process and its outcomes. Okay, so that is something which comes into the picture when we are talking about this buying center dynamics. So next thing which comes while analyzing and understanding this buying market: selling to buying centers. Okay, so if there is some organization who are specifically targeting other organizations to like raw materials for other organizations, and then how can someone start selling? So it's telling ki a company sells non-woven disposable surgical gown to hospitals. The hospital staff who participate in the buying decision includes the vice president for purchasing, the operating room administrator, and the surgeons. The vice president of purchasing analyzes whether the hospital should buy disposable or reusable gowns or not. If disposable, the operating room administrator compares various competitors' products who are available. Then anthespetic quality. Okay, it's talking about some quality measurements, and then the cost and the value associated with it. So successful business to business marketing requires that marketers determine not only the types of companies on which to focus their selling efforts, but also whom to concentrate on within the buying centers of those organizations. You should target the specific decision makers who has the authority, right? That's actually important. The business marketer is not likely to know exactly what kind of group dynamics takes place and during the decision process, though whether information he or she can obtain about personalities and interpersonal factors is useful. Small seller concentrates on reaching the key buying influencer. Larger sellers often go for in-depth selling to reach as many participants as possible. Their salespeople virtually live with high volume consumers or customers. Companies must rely more heavily on the communication programs to reach hidden buying influencers and keep current consumers informed. Okay, so here we just understood the basics behind this business to business market, how this works, who are seller, who are buying centers, uh, what are the dynamics and everything we try to understand. The next part which comes here is like understanding the buying process. When we talked about the consumer buying process in the last video, it consisted of 5 steps. When problem recognition was there, information search was there, comparison, and then buying, and then post purchase. Those were the steps. But here, um, for this particular thing, here are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different stages for understanding the buying process. So they are telling you first step is problem recognition. Let me show you the picture. I will show you in this shape. So this is first to 8th. So first is problem recognition, second is need description, third is product specification, fourth is supplier search, fifth is proposal solicitation, then supplier selection, then contract negotiation. Then after that, the thing comes is performance review. Okay, so this problem recognition here, as it's a formal thing, it's a business to business thing. It's not like a single person is buying crores of things for one organization. It's not possible always. So there are multiple level of stakeholders and people actually gets involved for making the decision more relevant and much better. Okay, so in this problem recognition, the company understands the user's perspective. Okay, that thing would be required for this particular product or for this. Then the need is described to the other authority. Then the product specification is created. Okay, so these are all the products which would suffice the need. Then the search for suppliers available in the market. So after searching for the suppliers, they steps into proposal solicitation. Then this selects the supplier. Then the negotiation is done. Okay, these are the things which we would take. Then the last thing is performance review of the product they just brought. Okay, this is working fine or not, it's worked fine or not. Okay, so after this, the next step which would come, next big topic which would come under this chapter is developing effective business marketing program. So we did talk about a consumer market business process, marketing process a little bit. We understood about the consumer psychology and everything. So would there be very big difference when we are talking about this business to business market or business to business marketplace? So what do you think? Just write it down. If you have any good or very interesting examples in your mind, then just share it. If you have faced some real life examples in your life for your small business, for your startup, for your family business, or whatever is there, then just go ahead and write it down. We would love to hear that from you. At the same time, if you want any particular topic under this video, under this chapter to be covered separately, then you can always write it down. You definitely try to pick it up and share a new set of examples, a new set of elaboration with new sets of energy. So now we would talk about developing effective business market program. What it is exactly. So hi. So the next big topic which actually talks about developing effective business marketing program. So we have read about how the marketing program is created for end consumers, or when a big company is trying to sell to the end consumers. But here in this business to business market, or this total business market, is a different ball game. Huh? So what they're telling here, some business marketing tactics or marketing programs which should be created or which people are using for them, that is little different. How? The first business marketing program that they are talking about is transitioning from product to solutions. They're telling ki, suppose you are selling components of some product to one company. Suppose you are selling not shoelace, maybe maybe suppose the machine guns kind of weapons or communication system, suppose you are buying. So here, suppose one country is buying these weapons from other country. So it's not like if you just share the weapon or deliver the weapon in parts to the country, that would complete or suffice the need, because there are multiple components of this weapon which should be managed together, and then they need to use it. The country can use it. So if, as a business to business supplier with this product, you can add services that will like collate the weapons or parts of the weapons which are transferred from one country to another, and then they will give the final weapon in such a way so that only one trigger needs to be pulled to use it, right? So what this part is saying, in this business to business marketing, don't just see it as product. You're selling this product, so add services with it as well. So it will enhance the likability, it would enhance the experience of your customers. Okay, so the second thing is, it's telling ki exchanging service. It's telling ki don't keep the services to its basic only. It's not like you just sold the weapon and just ये क्या बोलते हैं उसको, just organized it in certain way, and it's not like it's done. So suppose what you can do, you can exchange or enhance this service by adding warranty period of 5 years, 10 years. Any issues they are facing, you would take care of it. 2-3 times you can, like, you'd provide servicing for those weapons in particular timeline. So that's how this service that you are providing along with the product, you can enhance. Okay, so the third thing is building business to business brand. It's not like the brand value only exists in end consumer's mind. If your consumer is businesses as well, then also you can try creating brands there. Okay, just ignore this green color here. Okay. So the thing is ki, if you are creating a business to business organization as well, or business model as well, then also you can create one brand, because the brand value obviously always gives some easiness in people's mind. Whenever they're trying to buy something, they just think, okay, this is from this brand, so let's buy it. They gives it a lesser second, third, fourth thought. Okay, so then the fourth thing in this business to business marketing that comes is overcoming the price pressure. Suppose you are selling to business, and the business who are buying it, the buying center of that business is very much focused on buying it in the lowest price possible or lesser price possible. So they are giving you multiple examples. Ki other vendor is giving this at this price. This things we would require this many of things here, and this and those and those. So what you can do as a like business to business seller, you can overcome this price pressure by telling them ki okay, we can match that price, but there would be no services from our end. There will be no refunds if there are damaged products. There will be no adjustments done in future, and maybe other things to handle this price related pressure you can communicate. Okay, so these are the basically broad things when you are looking into the business to business marketing programs. The last big thing actually comes here is managing communication. So managing communication means keeping an online presence. Whenever whoever is searching for a business to business requirement, your organization's name as a seller should flow on the top with a good rating, and everything matters here as well. So that's this thing you need to keep in your mind. And other communications related to um, relationship management and everything though is always there. So after this market business marketing program, understanding this, we are at the last big topic of this chapter, which is named managing business to business relationship. So this business to business relationship maintain is really important. Understanding the buyer and supplier relationship, key over time. Buyer and supplier relationship can range from basic buying, selling that involves simple or routine exchange, that moderate level of cooperation and information exchange, to a collaborative relationship in which trust and commitment lead to a true partnership. So, if this relationship is maintained properly by providing information is required, gaining trust and everything, then this buyer-seller relationship can convert into partnership. Okay, well, for long-term partnership. Okay, then the second part, which comes while maintaining this business-to-business relationship, is managing corporate trust, credibility, and reputation. Building trust is one prerequisite to enjoying healthy long-term relationship. Trust is the firm's uh, willingness to rely on a business partner. It depends on a number of interpersonal and inter-organizational factors, such as the firm's perceived competencies, integrity, honesty, benevolence, and everything. So those are all the things which comes here. Ki corporate credibility and everything comes here while managing or creating this reputation. So first thing is understanding relationship, building a long-term relationship to partnership, then trust, credibility, reputation. The third point comes is risk and opportunism in business relationship. Researchers have noted that establishing a customer supplier relationship creates tension between safeguarding or ensuring predictable solutions and adapting, allowing for flexibility for unanticipated events. Vertical coordination can facilitate stronger customer seller ties, but may also increase the risk of customers and suppliers specific investment. Okay, so that is the third point under maintaining this business to business relationship. And the fourth point is managing institutional markets. Here what it comes ki when you are selling to some institution like hospitals, schools, nursing homes, prisons, and other institution, then the goods and services uh, that as a business you would be selling or providing to the institution is like the consumption for the patients. For so here what happens ki the part when you are selling to the institution, that means ki the institution actually needs separate things, and the needs vary from institutions to institution. Suppose, for example, if you have five hospitals as your customers, business customer, institution customer, then the requirement for, suppose you are delivering, providing foods for the patients there. So the five of those hospitals, it's like it's not like they all of them would need the same quality of food. Maybe there is one hospital which actually needs to cut down the price there. They just want to provide a basic food to the patients. That doesn't matter to them, even if the food is not that good and the patients are not giving good feedback to them. Then there is no way that you can sell higher margin or very high valued foods to them and they will buy it. So you should understand their need and provide the food. And similarly, suppose out of those five hospitals, you have one hospital who is a luxury one who needs very beautiful food, exotic fruits and everything there. Then you need to provide the things accordingly.